found myself getting into broadcasting myself. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my very special guest tonight. And his name is, I call him Andrew, but I know they call him Andy, but it's Andrew James Hughes. And we go way back, and we will be talking about that among a lot of other things. So, welcome, Andy.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's really nice. This is like kind of surreal.
And I remember that Joey Reynolds, escapade very well.
Yeah.
I got you there, right? Did we find it downtown or what, man?
We got there in plenty of time.
We found it.
We found it, and the funny part was that when I heard him talking, remember I got really nervous. I said, oh my gosh, I've been listening to him on my car radio, and I didn't really know who it was until I heard his voice, and I thought, he is going to really try to stump me, and he's very clever, but he really likes to rile people, and he's does a great show. I mean, he's fabulous, but he was what I expected, and he did stump me a few times, but he was a lot of fun. And
I think that was WOR.
I'm not sure of the station.
I just remember seeing all their pictures in the hallway with all the different people over the years, radio personalities and musicians and what have you, man.
Well, he was fabulous, and I was really, when they called me up, I mean, it was only 2 or 3 days after my 3 songs were released, the ones that I had the Nashville players on, and when they called me to come up and be on their show, I was like, I won the lottery, I was just really impressed. I'm like, they really want me? But then he insisted that I bring my guitar and play live, and that also, I said, my very first interview, and I'm going to have to play live? Oh my God, well, the show must go on. And
you did a good job, man.
Well, thank you.
It was very well done.
Yeah, it was fun, and they had actually a comedian there that night too, and he was really fun. He didn't get much word in edgewise. In fact, I'm supposed to have an egg timer up here, but I did bring myself my Keep Quiet plaque that I made myself, but it's over there in my attaché case.
It needs to be faced at me.
So just look at me, and if I'm talking too long, Andrew, just cut in. I'm telling you now.
I'll do my best,
Because
usually people have to do that with me.
I know. I'm well aware. We're 2 of a kind here, 2 peas in a pod. But that's what they told me when I went on the Joey Reynolds show. They said, Nancy, look, butt in, because if you don't, he'll talk the whole show. And you won't
input's everything, man.
They said,
it's communication back and forth.
Mm-hmm. They told me, just go talk over him, and that's it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Andy. And I did promo, of course, like I do this. I'm the promo queen. So what I have here to tell you about Andy Madman Hughes is a national recording artist with ASCAP. And for more information, and he's going to repeat all this at the end of the show and tell you even more, but for more information, you can check out AndrewJamesHughes.com, iTunes, Interscope, Amazon, MP3, Z100, and iHeartRadio. And I'll tell you what, Andrew and we got together quite a few years ago and did some jamming together and worked on a few of my songs. And we also have a lot of family members.
Yes, we do.
And so you can tell about that, about Steve and all that. And you can tell that story if you wouldn't mind.
Don't forget my webpage, AndrewJamesHughes.com.
Cool.
There are, links on there for iTunes and some video streaming and some music streaming and a whole bunch of news articles and what have you. From some of them are from my days with Speed Muffin. Maybe some of you out there remember the band Speed Muffin. We were the opening band for Blue Oyster Cult on the Budweiser concert series for a few years, and we opened up for Buck Cherry and actually Jason Bonham, John Bonham's son, with his band. Some real good times, man. And like most bands do, we, went our separate ways after a good amount of time, and I just went on to do my own thing, and very fortunate to have enlisted the help of the legend Alvis. If he's out there listening, I want to give a shout out to my man Alvis, who is currently on my CD, that is going to be released this summer on iTunes and hopefully through Best Buy. It's called Stir Fed and Spoon Fried. It's just got a lot of really different kind of music. It's not, it's. I think there's something on there for everybody. If I may be so daring to say that. So that'll be available on my webpage, AndrewJamesHughes.com. And, we got some new videos happening and this and that and the other thing. A couple of the songs are under Interscope Records, digital, and, you gotta keep trucking, man.
Right. Now, I know you've done other albums. So what album is this?
This is our finished, it's really a real album. I've done some other things that, were EPs and, just some promo stuff. And this one's like the official,
all right, Good.
CD album, what have you.
Great.
I'd love to make it on vinyl.
Right.
If that ever happens, that would be great.
Yeah.
I am a avid vinyl collector.
Right.
As most musicians, engineers out there know, there's nothing like analog. And even when you're listening to music, vinyl is just, got that certain quality that digital does not.
Right.
But everything's digital, and you got to adhere with the times, man.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's true. I wanted to bring up Blue Oyster Cult because I actually was in the same room with Blue Oyster Cult at Madison Square Garden many, many years ago.
Great guys.
Yes, and it really was terrific. In fact, I met so many people. I had a boyfriend for a few years, and he would show up. He wouldn't tell me where we were going, and he owned one of the largest music stores in Union City, New Jersey. And his friends were the Allman Brothers, and Leonard Skinner, and he was tight with all of those bands. Good friends. And one night in particular, and I was like as close to you as I was as close to David Bowie as I am to you right now.
She's sitting on my lap, just so you guys know.
That's a lie. He's got children and he's got a woman. She would not appreciate that. And it's so funny because Eddie Testa.
You got to keep listening, man.
You know what? Eddie Testa was here just a few weeks ago, and he said, "Come on, Nancy." After the show, we took pictures. "Come on, Nancy, sit on my lap." And I said, "I'm not sitting on your lap. Your wife is right over there." He goes, "That's why you can sit on my lap."
I can make a joke about that because you know me, man.
I know.
Shout out to Deborah and my son Kyle and my son Drew, who is actually playing the bass with us right now. We just did a show at Paul's Tavern in Belmar for they're a Bruce Springsteen tribute band, the Blood Brothers.
Oh, okay.
And it was a really, for some people out there, Paul's is really they've expounded. They have a little concert venue in the back, and it's a really good spot to check out if you're in Belmar, New Jersey. And my son Drew played the bass for us, and he was just awesome.
That must have been really cool.
It was one of my accomplished goals. It was great.
Well, I have to really give you huge kudos because your children, and I've known them from when they were yay high.
You went to their basketball games, their school basketball games.
Really little. They were little when I met them. And they are such great kids.
Oh, you're awesome, man. Thank you.
No, but it's true. I wouldn't tell you if it weren't true.
They are my life.
You have really reared them, and Debbie as well, because I'm sure she lays the line.
I'm a fortunate cat. I got a great chick, man.
Right. And so those children are so respectful and so sweet. And I remember your son.
And they dig you, man.
It was a sad time, though, that one of your sons pulled me out, and I believe it was your oldest. That's Kyle, right?
Drew.
I'm sorry. I knew that. Right. I just mixed it up. But he called me out, and he said, "Come on out here, Nancy. I have something for you to listen to." And I said, "Okay." And he puts his iPod up to my ear, and it's one of my songs. And I said, "Oh, my God." He said, "I have your entire this is after I finished my album. He said, "I have your whole album on my iPod.
They know good music,
your
man.
music."
They know good music.
He was young. He was 12 or 11 or something. So I was really...
they remember us recording together.
Yes.
And, doing our work that we did together.
Right.
And... they were digging it, man. We did a couple good tracks. And,
Right.
if I may say, Where Will You Go is one of my favorites,
Oh,
as
right.
you know.
Uh-huh.
And, the
Well,
kids hear me listening to it.
I think we're going to be working on that one together in the near future.
Well, I just got a new mic, a nice new
Yeah.
studio condenser mic, man.
Yeah,
So,
we'll be working on that. So also I wanted to say that I'm hoping that you chose as one of your songs to play at the end of the show is Blue Eyes, Clear Blue Eyes. Clear
yes.
Blue Eyes, because that is such a wonderful, remarkable song. I just
appreciate that,
I love that song. And I like a lot of your other material too, but that song, when I first heard it, I was just really impressed.
That seems to be the one that everybody's leaning towards,
Mm-hmm.
man. And we're hoping, we're in the agent I'm working with and, some of the management people. It's hopefully headed for some post-production. And for some of you who don't know what that means, that is background.
Right.
Film, television, and stuff like that. And there's actually a video on YouTube, Clear Blue Eye, Andrew James Hughes, of that song.
It's a great song. It really is.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, and I know some people now that are doing some films. Well, this is actually, I'll take the opportunity to say that we are in this very studio. We are Iron Horse Films and Hamilton Radio in one. So,
Well, Doc G and Dan the Man will be, I will leave them with the appropriate music.
definitely. Definitely.
Just want to shout out to Doc G and Dan the Man.
Oh, yeah. Well, if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be doing the show. And,
Dig it, man. The cats are bad.
And they sacrifice, too. I mean, Gene shows up. If he's dying, he's still here. And I know that. And I know that Dan would do the same thing.
That is awesome.
So we are really fortunate. I am really fortunate.
What did Frank say? All or nothing at all, man.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's absolutely correct. Yes.
In fact, me and Doc were talking about a friend of his from Asia that is doing some post-production and doing remakes of some earlier rock songs, and he's revamping them, really hard rock style.
And what is his name?
John Payne.
Okay.
Thank you, Doc. And I'm actually doing the same thing right now. We're just finally finished a project that I've been working on for so long, it seems, just to get the licensing and everything together. We're doing a remake of Somebody to Love by Jefferson Airplane.
Oh, what a great song.
And it's a little heavier than the original version.
Yeah,
and written
it's
by
great,
Darby
though.
Slick, of course. And I did it with Joey from Surefire. And it's licensed by Universal Music Group, finally. And it actually is available on iTunes right now. And we're hoping to get some post-production for that one, man. It's
Right.
really fitting for post-production, man.
Well, you are bringing me right back to the time where I was maybe 16 years old, and I saw Gracie Slick, and I remember them coming on Jefferson Airplane. I remember them in Convention Hall coming out on the stage.
Oh, everybody
And
played Convention Hall. A lot of people don't realize how
Yeah.
many great bands
Oh,
played
God,
Convention Hall,
you're not
man.
kidding.
Zeppelin played Convention Hall, man.
I know. And when she sang that song, the place went absolutely wild. And along with White Rabbit, when she did White Rabbit, it was like people went bonkers. You could hardly hear the music. People were screaming, and it was just so exciting. And I actually saw in Convention Hall, when I was younger than that, I saw Stevie Wonder. When they walked him
believe it.
out onto the stage, he needed to be escorted to his piano. And he was 14 years old.
The fingertips,
I
man.
mean, it was unbelievable. And so I love, I grew up in Asbury, as everybody knows. So
Yes.
I love Asbury. And
Remarkable brother, Mr. Billy Ryan, great guitar player.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He just recently, a friend of mine in Brazil actually posted you reposted it again,
Yes,
too.
I did, man. He
Bruce
was rocking.
and my brother.
He was rocking at the Wonder Bar
and
with Bruce.
211. And Bruce turns around and looks at him and goes, "Go, Billy."
Well, he was hanging with Billy right in the video.
Well,
you could see,
well,
man.
the thing is, Bruce wanted my brother to be his lead guitarist. I mean, that's kind of coming out now. I mean, my brother's a very humble type of guy, and he doesn't go around boasting or talking. And I'm quite the opposite. I'm like, promote if you don't tell anybody
They will
about
not know.
yourself, they won't know. And so I promoted that that video all over. I mean, and it was on my news, even just being on my news feed, it just went everywhere. But I also spent an hour or an hour and a half yesterday sending it all over the world. And I put it on all the Bruce Springsteen, groups pages. And I put you on our show on all the Bruce Springsteen pages.
Yes, and I am
and
very
they love
grateful.
me because when I put my picture up with Bruce, they go, woo. I told Bruce when I saw him last in September. I
Yeah,
whispered
that's a
to
great.
him.
You got a couple good pictures with the boss yourself.
Well,
there,
we got
man.
6 pictures, but I only posted like one. And I'll probably post some others, but I like the one I posted. I like the best. But
He
I
should
said,
have used more lead guitar in some of his music. He's one of my faves. The man is
Yeah.
great songwriter,
Yeah.
man. You go to a Bruce show, you're getting 4 hours of quality rock.
Oh,
There is
absolutely.
no doubt. But lead guitar is not one of his preferences, man.
well,
You know?
most people say, when he does play though, he's quite.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Quite,
You kidding
quite
me?
good. But he loved my brother. When I saw him, he said this to me exactly. This is a quote. Nancy, every time I'm getting it wrong. Nancy, when I see your brother Billy, I am so excited because your brother Billy is one of the greatest guitar players ever. And so that's what I put underneath the picture of me and Bruce and my friend, is that quote and nothing else.
It's nostalgic for him, man.
And yeah, but Billy was 5 years older than Bruce at the time, and he had a sheetrock business that was taking off, and a woman in his life for like a long time, and was
Like I
just
said, you
had
gotta
other
keep
things
trucking,
going
man.
on.
You got to keep trucking.
And I think it had to do
No
with
matter what truck you're in.
I think it had to do with my brother being a jazz blues artist as well. He was accepted to go to Juilliard, and anyway, this show's about you, so we're going to get
No,
back
man,
to
that's
that.
fine. Billy,
But
you kidding me? Maybe he'll play. He'll do some work with us. We're doing a
maybe
promo, man.
Yeah, maybe he'll come on and do the "Where Will You Go" song, and
That would be
because I haven't had him play on
really
any of
good.
my music. And what I was going to say is that that Billy went on to go with the James Cotton Blues Band as lead guitarist, and he was with them for a long time. And then he went with Clarence Clements and the Red Bank Rockers as one of his, because he had 2 lead guitarists, Clarence. He had a huge band. I think there were 17 people in his band. They went on tour for a year and a half. So,
Good band.
Yeah, and they just did a big, in the summer at Martell's, Nick got together and did a big benefit, a big celebration for Clarence's birthday. And my brother, of course, I told Suze, his producer, I said, and promoter, I said, you've got to get my brother Billy and Jeff Levine, who is the keyboard, you've got to get those 2 guys. And she told me after that show, she came over and gave me a huge hug, and she said, Nancy, if it wasn't for you, she said, you don't know how grateful I am, because, they just didn't have those they just didn't know. I mean, they just didn't have the connections or where to get in touch with them or anything. So it was great. They did fabulous. People were it was great. It was like they never separated. So getting back to Andy, which I'm not used to calling you, Andy.
Just don't call me late for supper.
Yeah, right, exactly. Tell us about really how far back, like the family we go, and the
We go
connection
back,
with
man.
your uncle.
Well, as you were, talking
your
to
aunt.
Doc G about my uncle Steve Lusardi, who is definitely one of the most consummate B3 players ever. He's like a Groove Holmes prodigy, if you will. We go back to the days when there was the Sunshine Inn in Asbury Park.
That's right, and
the
I went to it
Sunshine Inn.
many
Talk about
times.
bands playing, man.
And the Pillow Talk
People don't realize
Lounge.
Cream played Asbury Park at the Sunshine Inn.
Right,
You know,
remember
and the Student Prince.
The Student Prince.
These are a little before my time, but I know the legends.
'Cause that's
man.
history, right.
I know all about it.
It's your
man.
heritage.
You got to keep with it, and
The Pillow Talk Lounge I used to go to. And Steve, they would hand the microphone along the bar, and I would sing with Steve. And that was that was when I was 18. I've known your uncle since I was 18 years old.
And where the bowling lane is in Bradley Beach, whatever that was called.
Right.
I know you guys hung in there, man.
Right.
And, special shout out to my Aunt Diana.
Right.
Who you also grew up with, and of
Diana?
course, I've known her since, .1.
Your whole life.
You know.
When you were in the tummy of her sister.
In the cryo tube there, you know.
Right.
So, yeah, we go back pretty good.
Diane and I
You
met
know, we
when
go
we
back
were
real good.
when we were 18, and we were best friends our entire life. Yeah, so
You still are, man.
yeah, so you know, it's a small world indeed, and they don't call Steve Lusardi the maestro, you know. That takes a very high honor to be called a maestro. And I will also say thank you to Steve, because Steve, I called him and he was on 6 of my tracks on my Ryan Roxett album.
With John Harrington.
With John, yeah, John Harrington, Steely Dan, and then I had a fabulous drummer, Tom Catone, and I had, Chris Plunkett, who is a fabulous bass player. He plays with Sonny Ken. I had the greatest, I hope I'm not leaving any musicians out, because they were equally all really, I was very fortunate for Jeff Levine.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and Jeff,
who was with Hall and Oates
mixed
for
it
9
and
years.
stuff, yeah.
He has his own studio, Organic Sound Studio.
And
so
if I might add to that, the Somebody to Love remake that I mentioned earlier, that I did with one of the guys from Surefire, Joey, you know, it's his studio. Jeff has the studio right underneath his, you know, so it's kind of, you know, it's a small world.
Right. Well, Jeff Levine and my brother were both, and Jeff was in Clarence Clemens' band as well. He was the keyboard player. So, you know, my brother and Jeff go back forever, and so that's why, you know, I went and I recorded there. And I did talk to Tony. It's Tony Amato, is it? Surefire. I get his name confused. Surefire. What's his name?
His keyboard player.
No. Jeff, the person that runs that owns the studio himself.
Yeah, it's Gary Talent, man.
No, a Surefire studio.
Gary Talent and Joey DeMeo.
Joey DeMeo. I didn't know Gary Talent was a part owner of that studio.
Well, we got to be careful. I don't want you.
I didn't know that.
You know.
Well, Gary Talent.
If I promote him, you know, he.
Well, you know, I was like a day short or a few days short of getting Gary Talent on my first 3 songs that were released, that the first 3 songs that I did
busy guy
with Doc Holliday, but he was part of the Nashville Players, and that's who I had on my first 3 releases before we even got together. And that's where my song Indecision became so really well known, and people still today, it's in the top 10 Reverb Nation country for over 1 consecutive year.
That is very awesome.
And I don't even promote it anymore. I mean, every time I see it.
The song's good, people like it. You don't, you know, once you get it out there,
and all you need is one. That's the thing.
Pretty much.
You get one.
You want to try to follow up, but you get that one that everybody remembers you for.
And then
they get Don McLean could probably play the pony and sell it out for you know, Miss American Pie. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. You get that one, and then people start listening to the rest of your stuff. And I've had many artists that I admire, you know, send me emails or call me up and say, "Wow, I've been listening to your music. It's heavy. It's really good, though. I really love your music and your lyrics and everything about your music."
They're written from the heart, man.
That's the truth.
I know you. I know how you write your lyrics.
From the heart and a little bit of vodka in those days.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I was one of those, you know, writing, you know, in my
some of the greatest songs have been written from such.
In my 25s and 30s, I was writing a lot of music. I have written over 100 songs, and I stopped writing a few years. Well, I've been writing a few, but never finished them now. But yeah, a lot of them were written in the days where the next day I get up and I look at and I'm going, what's that word? But, you know, I figured them out. But
that's how Jim Morrison wrote them. You know?
I was like having that.
Couldn't reread his lyrics.
I'd be drinking that vodka and feeling better and better and thinking, wow, this song's a hit, you know.
Yeah, but you get a bunch of vodka drinkers and, you know, they're listening and thinking the same thing.
I haven't done that now in like 20, I guess it's been 27 years now for me, but anyway, I don't miss it at all, and I look like probably 20 years younger than I am. No, not quite.
I'll agree with that, absolutely.
Being a little boastful there, but
you even go a little better than that.
I look at least 10 years younger than I am.
Better than that.
But yeah, I went to California, and
would you? You know, I know most of the listeners. I don't know if you've ever mentioned that to them, but that you did live in San Diego. Mm-hmm. You were in San Diego. It's one of my favorite spots.
Right.
I have some family out there. actually, currently. My wife's mom and cousins and whatnot. What'd you think of San Diego?
I absolutely, I'll tell you, my brother Billy walked me to the airport, and I had one guitar in my hand and my suitcase in the other, and I had sent my daughter Nina to live with her dad in New Mexico. And I went out there, one-way ticket, because I had my sister-in-law, Billy's wife, Michelle, who I adore, Michelle My Belle.
That's a good thing, man.
Her brother, Ray, had come home one Christmas, and he said to me, Nancy, what are you doing in New Jersey? Like, I had broken up a relationship, and I was on my own. And he said, you are welcome to come to San Diego. And he was 25 miles north of Tijuana, right on the beach there.
That is it.
And he said, you are welcome to come and stay as long as you want and get yourself situated and get a job and all that. And one year I took him up on it. I just took him up on it. You know, I called and I said, I'm coming. And he said, that's great. And I lived there for about 3 months, and then I got my own place. And then my daughter came to live with me. And I was there 28 years and loved every minute of it. I have to say.
Some of the best weather in the country.
And absolutely. It is the best
without
winter.
a doubt.
But I'll tell you the problem now, I was really anxious to get back there. And the problem now is, and I hate to be a downer or a bummer, but it is true that they had that meltdown in Japan, that nuclear meltdown, and the radiation from that. I'm not a scientist or anything, and I may have it not, you know, absolutely right on, but it has come across the ocean, and it hit San Diego, and it went up the coast to San Francisco, and now it's hitting Portland, and it's just going to go around. So we're going to all be moving in the middle of the United States to be safe.
If one thing, now, man, you can't do that. If one thing don't kill you, another thing will.
I know,
we're all on the path, you know.
But it is scary, though.
The oxygen
don't you
we're
think?
breathing is, you know, oxidizing us as we breathe it.
But we
you know?
gotta do something to stop, to protect the ozone. We are ruining the world, and we'll get off this subject real fast.
Yeah, I know. Things have happened on this planet before we even got here that were way more catastrophic. You know, there were eruptions and earthquakes that, you know, leaked certain gases into the atmosphere.
Sure.
We only have been here a short time. When I say we, I mean, you know, humanity.
Right.
You know, you can't, who knows? You know, I know New Jersey is, you know, there's a lot of toxins in some of the states that are so densely populated, you know. California's getting close to one of those.
Oh, it's so busy.
It's getting close to the densely populated
I was just
version
there.
of Jersey.
Yeah.
But some of those states out there, you know, it's just so open that it just, you know, it doesn't stay present. You know, there's no lingering. You know, it seems like a lot of it just phases out, what have you. You know, they were testing the H-bomb in Nevada.
Right.
And they got, you know, a real low cancer rate. So maybe everybody got radiated and it you know, it held down the cancer rate. Down the cancer, right. Who knows?
Well, we'll get totally off that subject and get back to...
You know, who knows, Nancy, right?
I'm going to ask you some questions.
Oh, no.
It's 8 o'clock already. We went a half an hour, went so
all right,
fast.
Just take it easy on me now.
Yeah, but you're great. I need more people on like you because, hey, Gene, I don't talk that much with him, do I? He doesn't give me much of a chance, but I knew that was going to happen because we're the same. Like I said,
I said you were going to need that sign and face it towards me, man.
Yeah, exactly. But that's great. That's good.
Get a light, Gene. You know, bing.
Because Dan's going to bring me one of the old-fashioned egg timers, and that's just a 3-minute thing. So once I start talking, I know that when that's out, I have to turn it over and stop talking.
Or the thing they use when they play chess. You know, you hit one and the other cat hits the other side. You know what I mean? When they're playing chess.
Oh, yeah,
exactly. There's clocks, you know. One guy, all right, you're next. Yeah. You're next.
If it makes noise, though, but you do that when you turn your when you're playing.
I make noise no matter what, man. I'm a noisy cat.
Yeah, well, you're a drummer too, and a guitar player, and
one of my favorite quotes, John Lennon. I'm an artist. Give me a tuba and I'll get you something out of it. You know, give me a kazoo. I'll find something that'll work.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You got to
That's
play
for
what's
sure.
necessary, you know. But yes, my primary
I'm a
instrument
whistler.
is drums and guitar.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely an artist. I consider myself an artist, and it was a gift
A
and
very
inherited.
great artist.
Oh, thank you. You're sweet. But I was a whistler. Like I would drive people crazy whistling as a kid. And
Well,
my
if you
brother
can whistle,
Bobby,
you can sing.
my brother Bobby, bless his soul, who passed away 3 years ago, was one of the best slide guitarists around, and people remember him. People that I didn't even know, if I mention his name, they'll go, you mean Bobby Ryan? And he was very shy, my brother Bobby. What a genius he was, though. People say he was a genius. He built like a Duesenberg from a kit.
Really?
He had his own auto business body in business.
That's good, man.
In Elbron, New Jersey. Guess what the name of it was? Insane Auto Bodies. That was the name of his shop. And he was doing Rolls Royces and Jaguars, and he had a Jaguar himself and a Cadillac, but he is so talented. And when one of the Ullmans, when I don't know which Ullman brother died, my brother Bobby actually got in his car and drove to Georgia with the intention of trying to get into that band.
I think it was Dwayne.
Dwayne,
was
exactly.
it Dwayne, Doc G?
I was going to say
I think
Dwayne.
Yeah.
And my brother Bobby could have really replaced him, but he got down there and he just, I don't know why, he just didn't have that confidence in himself that he
Humility,
really needed.
man. You know,
He just needed
Cat
that.
was humble.
I'm not like that. See, my brother Billy's very humble. My brother Bobby, a lot of but I guess, I don't know. I guess, I don't know, I'm not like
Me
that.
and you
I'm
were
an entertainer.
We're like minds, man. Like minds, you know.
I get out there and I say, hey, in fact, on the way up we were talking, and I'm going to save this. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but everybody that knows me knows I just come out with it. That's the way it is.
All right.
And so I almost told you, a lot of people like I don't have a band, so like I sing at every opportunity I can. And so I asked Bobby Bandiera.
Just so you know, you have a band when you need one.
Oh yes, thank you. We're talking that way, but so I asked Bobby Bandiera, who is now a good shout out for Bobby. You know, he is now part of Bon Jovi's band, and he played with them for years, and now he is a part of the band, and he's up front, which I'm so happy for him because he is one of the greatest singers and entertainers.
Oh, yeah, Bobby's
I
real
love
good,
Bobby.
man.
I love
Yeah.
Bobby, and
I remember when he used to play at what was it called, Cheers in Red Bank with Chuck Lambert, maybe.
oh yeah, Chuck Lambert. I
Chucky
want to get
Lambert,
him
yeah.
on my show.
And yeah, I remember they were up there, man. It was really a good time.
Right.
Real good time.
Right.
And
And
that's
Eddie-
half the battle, man. You
Yeah.
want the people to have a good time, you know. If you're having a good time, the people you're playing for will have a good time.
Well, one of my best friends, Ronald Davis, Ronnie, they call him. He decided he wanted to be called Ronnie about a year before he passed away. And unfortunately, I told him, Ronald, I'm sorry, but to me, you are Ronald, and I'm going to call you Ronald. And you know, he got mad at me for other reasons over the year, you know, on and off. But what Ronald did for me was a very special thing. I contacted Ronald online because he was the founder of Good Morning with the Boss Club. And I mean, I love and miss him till this day, and I post on his page and everything. And I put all my shows on his page and say, oh, you're going to love this one.
Awesome.
Yeah. And because I believe in that. I believe that you do communicate still, and he's still with me and will always be until I meet him
There's
again.
enough to go around, man.
Yeah.
There's,
And
you know.
so, but Ronald, and he told the story I took him to do before an old Freehold Day. I got a whole band together, and I did old Freehold Day years ago. And so I took him, and I said, you can do this. He goes, I'm so nervous. I said, no, you're going to go on the Rock and Tommy show, and you're going to tell about old Freehold Day. And he did. And it was the same night that I took Slim Chance and the Gamblers on the show. And he went on first, and then Slim Chance and and did his thing. Or maybe it was two separate. I think it was two separate shows. Anyway, I'm not clear on it. I've been doing this now for quite a while, for over a year now, so I lose track. But he told the story.
I believe it has become your forte, man.
He told me this. He said, he tells the story. He told it when he got on. First, I have to tell you about Nancy, my friend, one of my best friends, Nancy. He goes, this chick is really, really one of a kind. She bugged me for so long. Now, this is a Bruce Springsteen club, and this chick is bugging me to put her CD, just because she grew up in Asbury Park, on Bruce Springsteen's page. Well, finally, I had to give in. Well, he not only put me on for the whole weekend, Friday night, all day Saturday night, all day Sunday, all Sunday night. He did it 3 times in 2 months.
People must have been digging it, man.
And I'll tell you what, the last time I saw Bruce, I told him, and I told him even 2 years before that I had seen him, or 3 years it was, I told him. But to make a long story short, I said to Bruce, I said, you know what, Bruce, thank you so much. I said, you know what, because all of your fans are becoming my fans. And it's true.
That's the way, man.
And all these people, all the Springsteen people, like all over the country, want to be my friend because I grew up in Asbury, and I want them to be my friend. And I put the time in for my friends. I mean, I spend hours. I'm on Bing. I'm translating in Portuguese, and for my friend Simone in Brazil. Simone has a new Springsteen page. It's Springsteen.
There's a lot, man. He is the man. You know.
All my. There's so many I can't even. In fact, I'll tell you guys.
I'm going to make a list for a reason.
I'm going to make a list. All you guys that support me, and I will be promoting you at the end of my show. So be happy about that. I got so much going on, but I'm going to add that because let's get back to you.
You don't want to do too many, man. The hour there'll be the hour.
I'll do it real fast, and you know how I'll do it? I'll promote it at the end as a little PS, as a little comment at the end. Actually, you're giving me the answer to that because that will be a problem. I don't want to take more time out. I will put it in a little PS.
Real concise. Very
concise. The names of the clubs. Okay, that'll be great. That'll help. So we're going to get to a few questions.
Oh, boy.
Eddie got off. Eddie didn't even get questions. Eddie and I just talked. But anyway, I am going to ask you some questions. And one of them is, what are some fond memories that you have from your childhood? And in particular, what was your favorite memory?
I guess some of my fondest memories are the music that my parents listened to while I was growing up. My dad was a Chicago nut, so, I grew up with Danny Seraphine and Terry Kath and, all them cats, Lee Lockney, and my mom, Ginger. Rest her soul, Ginger. Man. We send a shout out to her.
I love
She was
Ginger.
Just a Carlos nut and Motown and Beatles, and I just remember, on weekends and just hearing some great music, man. And my mom took me to buy my first drum set, and took me to my first drum lessons and rehearsals with my first bands, and so I guess some of my greatest memories would lie in music. I know that sounds, really, like I'm, redundant or what have you, but, they really are. Some of my greatest memories are with music and my parents, the music they listened to there. And I remember, I guess it was 8-tracks. I remember my dad having an 8-track player in his truck, in his car, and listening to 8-tracks. But,
right.
A lot of people don't realize 8-tracks were 1/4-inch tape, analog tape. So it was really a good sound. It was, pretty much like listening to 1/4-inch tape. And, just, they were really, very musical. They were just great music appreciators, man.
Exactly.
And, my mom was big with watching Soul Train every Saturday morning, Don Cornelius, man. We saw all the latest. I remember seeing, Michael Jackson when he first came out, and, the Reverend Al Green and some of the greats, the whole thing. And so, I was fortunate, man. I had some great parents, and they turned me out to some really great music.
Right. Well, that's the case with me as well. My mother is a singer and was a singer and used to sing on the WJLK radio, and she'd go over to the Berkeley Carteret and she'd sing there. They would have a piano bar, and like when I sang with your Uncle Stephen, I call him Stephen, and I'm really into proper names. I think it's being raised Catholic. I think.
That's cool.
My name is really Elizabeth Nancy Teresa Ryan.
Is that right?
Yes. In fact,
I'm not going to call you Lizzie. So
just for everybody, thank you, but for everybody that knows, like my brother Billy, who we called him Willie growing up.
Is that right?
And let's say, hey, I'm going to give my friend Willie Nile and Joey Pisano Johnny Pisano, rather, a huge shout out because I'm having them on their show. We are trying to get them on, so we'll be playing their music too. But and I told Willie, I said, well, that's what I called my brother growing up was Willie. But my brother Billy's name is William Joseph Ryan Jr.
William, Bill, Billy, you know.
Yeah, and my dad's, well, anyway, and it goes down the line. My brother Bobby, who passed away, God rest his soul, that we were talking about. His name was Robert Vincent Ryan, you know. James Patrick Ryan, you know.
That's a great name, man.
Yeah, all Irish Catholic. Well, you had to have a saint's name was your first name. So that's the Catholic thing. You have to have it. So
yeah, I think my name's named that. You know,
Andrew,
I got some religious undertone in there, man.
It's got to be a saint's
You know, there's one more memory I just real quick want to interject.
No, hey, it's your show.
No, it's I'm
well,
glad,
it's my show.
I'm a guest, and I'm glad to be here, man. You know, my drum corps years, I was in the Eatontown Royales. I had a really good foundation with music. I was in drum corps for about 4 years.
Great.
It was very arduous, and you know, we put a lot of work into it. We did a lot of great shows and played in stadiums filled with 10,000 people, have you. And my boy DC, my Washington, D.C., Baltimore connection, man, Mr. D.C. himself, who was in drum corps with me, my cousin, he shares the same memory, man. So I just wanted to throw that in there, man.
Well, I agree, and I've had so many musicians come on and share that same thing, that they either had a parent that was a musician, or they absolutely had parents that really loved music.
Music appreciators,
and my
man.
mother was the same thing, well, she, even being a singer, but she also always had music on, and she, like everybody from Willie, when she passed away, I inherited her record collection, her 78s, and I was going through them. And, you know,
That's the thick vinyl,
she
man.
went everywhere from Merle Haggard to Willie Nelson to all the way up to, like, Barbara Streisand.
That's almost wax.
To Frank Sinatra, to
Another
My
great,
Fair Lady.
We got to give it up for Frank, man.
I mean,
he is, you know, I'm a rocker from way back. You see me sitting there with the long hair, the nose ring, the whole thing.
But
Frank is the man.
Well,
rest his soul.
I have a safe deposit box. It's a little teeny one. It's
Easy
not in
now.
the bank. And I have Frank Sinatra's, his autograph. And I got to say, sorry, Daddy, but my mother loved, like everybody else, Frank Sinatra. He was so handsome.
Come on. He just had a sound.
Oh, blue eyes, too.
It's an unreplicated sound,
But he
man.
was so handsome.
Hey.
And my dad was really handsome.
Well, that's for you to say, man. Old blue eyes, you know.
He was very handsome. And my father really looked like Frank Sinatra.
Can't lose with that.
So, to make a long story short, Frank Sinatra, I think I am destined for stardom.
Yeah,
when I was two,
you're there.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's true. You got to believe that way.
Absolutely.
But Frank Sinatra, I was only 2.5 years old, and we were on Phillips Avenue Beach in Deal, New Jersey, and my mother was, and that was a long, long, long beach, and my mother's walking down from the board, walking down onto the beach, and he's coming up from the beach.
Oh, man.
And Frank Sinatra looked at me, and he said, "What an adorable little girl."
You mean he said, "Hey, baby,
because
you're an adorable little girl."
But I think really he was looking at my mother, because my mother was 5'7", had a fabulous shape, even after, well, she had by then several children.
Well,
but,
you take after your mom.
Well, thank you, but I'm a shorty. I'm the shrimp of the family. But all my brothers were 6'2", and I'm really the shortest in the family, literally. But he's, I think he was looking at my mom. She was very attractive. She looked like Meryl Streep, and she had long hair. She was wearing a bikini. My mother wore a bikini till she was like 57 years old.
Oh, man.
After 8 children,
Hit
really.
chick.
But anyway, yeah, she was something, my mother. Very talented woman. But and she did plays. But getting back to, I'm getting off track here.
It's all right.
I wanted to say about this.
I might be trying to dissuade you, so, you know.
You are. And you are. You do a good job of it. Unfortunately, my mother didn't have a pen. She only had a pencil. And she had the ticket for the beach, so he signed his name on the back of the thing. But what he said to my mother, he gave me a little slap on the behind. And he said, "What an adorable little girl. What's her name?" And my mother said, "It's Nancy."
Oh, his daughter's name is Nancy, man.
He said,
That's right. He wrote a song for her.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know if Nelson Riddle or,
And And he said,
Cole
well,
Porter.
that's my daughter's name. And my mother said, I know. That's why I named her
Right.
Nancy.
These boots are made for walking,
That
man.
was, Nancy Sinatra. That was
That's
her
right.
famous,
Absolutely.
her big hit.
That's, you know,
I
man,
should sing
I
that
just
song.
realized that. That's great.
But I'm not only...
You should cover that song, man.
Yeah.
That would be that would be good.
But not only, because I wear boots all the time. I'm a boot person. I'm a boot lady, so watch out. I'll kick you right in the butt. But anyway, my aunt, my mother's only sister, Jean Jacobson, my aunt loved music. And my aunt and her sister, Jean, they were like in vaudeville. So they were doing dancing and singing in the 30s, whatever. My mother was born in 1923, so
great time,
I don't
man.
know what year they were dancing when they were 12 and 13 and 14 and doing vaudeville. So my aunt, I'll never forget, and she only had one child, and because of that, she was always with all of us kids wanting to do things, but she would, always be singing, when the red, red robin goes bobbing along.
You got great timbre, man. I love your voice, man.
There'll be no more sobbing when he starts, and I,
That's
wake
good.
up,
Yeah,
wake up, you sleepyhead. Well, I always break out in sound almost every show because I think
good,
of these
man.
songs, and I love that
We
song.
are on the radio after all,
Yeah, I love to sing. I love to sing.
Can't be breaking out and dancing,
I'm getting better singing in my latter years. Well, the more I sing, I've been singing in Convention Hall now for three years, going on my third season, the first Saturday every month, and I'm rehearsing a lot more and singing a lot more. So I think
a lot of people pass through there, man. You must be meeting some great people.
I am. I absolutely
am.
And it just keeps getting, as I have more experience too. It's just the shows are getting better and better, right, Jean? I don't know how they put up with me because I come in and
You're great, man.
even with Jeff Levine, when I came in, I said, let me make one thing perfectly clear. I borrowed that from some president. Who said that? Nixon?
No, who said that? Was it
Somebody.
FDR,
I think it was Nixon. Let me make one thing
maybe.
perfectly clear. Whoever it was, I thank you for it. And who was it? Yeah, it was Nixon.
it?
So that's what I said. I said, Jeff,
I'm not a crook.
I'm not a crook. Those are the kind you have to really watch out for. But trust me. Yeah, right.
That's a hard job, man. It's funny, when we were kids, they're all, oh, you want to grow up to be president? I don't. That's got to be one of the hardest jobs, but everybody, they're so under the scope of things, and they're running the whole show, man. That, I don't do politics, the whole thing.
No,
but
I don't
that
either,
has got to
really.
be one of the hardest jobs, man.
Right, definitely.
You think about it, man. You don't get a moment's peace with that job.
No, it's crazy.
What good is the power with that
It's crazy.
going on, man?
Crazy. But I wanted to say that Jeff is a consummate organic sound studio on Broadway. He is just such a wonderful professional
he's a good dude,
guy.
man.
And he tours with Joe Cocker and so many different, I couldn't even tell you how many people he tours with, but...
You know who used to be in his studio? It's right, I know where, at the level it's
Right.
in Surefire. Actually, they called him Captain Chronic, man, LeVar Mitchell, who is the keyboard player for Mary J. Blige. And
right.
Jodeci.
Yeah, he works with so many great people.
He worked in that studio, man.
Right.
He's another great keyboardist,
Well,
and,
Oh, he's played with, I don't know if it was BB. He's got all kinds of pictures in his studio.
LeVar,
He goes
LeVar's
way
the man.
back,
Yeah,
way
yeah,
back.
yeah.
But, when I came in, I said, I just want to make it clear that I am the singer, songwriter, guitar player, and record producer. So if you can go with that and not, try to interject, because I respect you enormously, but I don't want...
You want creative control.
I want creative control.
Gotta have it, man.
And I want to thank your uncle, Stephen, the maestro. And there's no mistakes that I didn't hire him to be on my...
The man knows his drawbars.
Because he came in and he was not just the organ pianist, but he was the maestro, and he led the band.
He had your back.
And he had my back 100%. And thank you, Stephen, for that. Because
Shout out to Mr. Stephen.
Absolutely, because I don't know if my CD would have turned out half as good. And then, of course, Jeff got me John Harrington, who's on tour right now with Steely Dan.
Who I'd like to mention I actually opened up for.
Yeah.
And I think Drew did play the show with us at the Brighton Bar in Long Branch.
He's great. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Real quick shout out to DAA Entertainment. Ben, my boy at DAA.
Oh, wait. We're going to get you to do all that. I'm going to back you up just a minute. I got to get one more question.
Do your thing, man.
One more question, and then we're going to do all your promo, and then I'm going to... Because we're getting to the time. It's too bad. It goes so fast.
I don't know what to say, man.
It just goes so fast,
I was nervous, you know.
It's too much.
An hour radio, man.
No, you're doing great. Great. Just great. But I can't, and John, another consummate, such a professional. Like, he comes in and I'm telling John Harrington how to play.
You got to do
I'm
it,
going,
man.
Play the song like this. Make that guitar sound like it's crying on this song out on
That's
the
what a
Limigo.
professional wants. They want that input. They want you to tell them.
But I know what I want, and I wrote the song. Hello. The last thing I want is somebody telling me, hey, I'll play your song this way.
If you're a hired gun, you gotta do what they want, man.
Yeah, they were great. My musicians were great. I thank each and every one of you, and I think that I named each and every one of them. I'm pretty sure. John Thompson, he came in too. I want to thank him too. He came in, but I think I got everybody. Yeah, it was a great group of guys. So, okay, I'm going to ask you another question. What was the happiest day of your life?
Right today, right now.
Oh, wow. That's really nice. No, you've been interviewed before,
of course,
haven't you?
any parent worth their salt is going to say the day my children were born, man.
There you go.
I saw them pulled into the world. I was standing there, saw the whole thing. The doc was like, here's the thing. Cut the umbilical cord. I was like, man, you're on the clock, man.
Yeah,
cut that stuff yourself, man. I'm just here to observe, make
when
sure it's all going right.
I saw them standing there. Well, I was just
She
7.
looked at me, and before I could see that before too long I fell in love with her.
Well, why should I dance with another? Woo! When I saw her standing there. Yeah, we'll do good together.
E7 sharp 9, man.
Yeah,
great chord.
We'll do. Well, my heart stood still when I
crossed that room
and I
held her tight in my arms.
All right. We'll sing the whole rest of the time. It was so funny. My last guest, Allison, who I really love, and she's with City of Angels. We started crying because the City of Angels is for recovery, and I want you to, so we did the second, and it was great answers, and God bless your family.
I'm quick, man.
God bless your family.
I just got a couple cats to just throw it out to. It's all
I want you to go ahead and do that promo, and then I'll do mine, and we'll be out of time.
You really cool with that? I just
want to absolutely.
I want to send something out to Eagle Speed Automotive, one of my sponsors, local sponsors. Ellen and Greg Shalaba, man, they're in Point Pleasant, Beaver Dam Road. You need anything automotive. They are sound. They are legit. They are top of the line. I want to send something out to my man Steve at SJM, Mechanical Engineering. The cat, this cat's got your house down. You need something done. He's got it. Whatever you need done. It'll rebuild the whole thing if that's what you need.
Right.
He's in Neptune City. And
what about
I will send it out to my man Marky and Billy. With him, they're all down it. And the Fasano brothers. My brother Patrick Fasano in Asbury, he's with Conover Realty. These are the people that make it happen for me, man.
That's great.
And my people at Interscope,
you have a lot of support behind you.
I'll
join the band already,
Cody Alder from Interscope, and they're you got to do it, man. You got to keep it rolling. And of course, my boy DC in the house.
Now, what about Jay?
Jay Walker, who
I
has
wanna
done
s-
work for both of us,
I
man.
love Jason.
He is great, man. He
I knew
he just had a birthday coming
I knew
up,
Jason when he was in the belly of his mommy.
I believe he had.
Yeah.
He just had a birthday, I believe. He is a tourist, man.
Yeah. Love
Great
Jason.
bass player.
Great
Drew's
bass.
picking up the slack for Jay Walker. Actually, we're working on a recording right now called Moto Man. And Jay is, doing some of the bass tracks. He's got a 57 Chevy sitting up on the block, a 97 Lexus, and he's ready to chop. Dollar signs all in his mind. He's got to keep moving because he'll fall behind. He got the hydro and the nitro and the gasoline. He's got the mojo and the gojo for when you need something done mechanically. He's a
Very
moto man. Look for that one on iTunes.
That's great.
Coming up,
That's
man.
Great.
Thank you for letting me get that
hey,
in,
I
man.
never had anybody sing a whole practically song
I
on
just
my
sang
show.
a verse, pre-chorus,
Well,
baby,
that's fabulous. Fabulous.
I appreciate you letting me
But
do that.
no, do it. I told you. It's
Doc
your
G,
show.
we good, man?
Doc Tree
Dan.
and Dan. Oh yeah, they're
Dan,
right
the man
there.
in the house.
That's right. That's right. I want to say something about Jason too. That they've got a great. Jay and his wife Mimi. They own a great architecture
Yes,
business.
JMI Architects.
yeah.
You know what? Oh, I got.
And they built some beautiful homes. So
I would consider them one of my sponsors.
Yeah,
absolutely.
right,
Yeah, they've
right.
been there for a couple shows. They did some advertising with some of our shows.
Right.
And JMI Architects in Belmar. What is it? Is it considered Lake Como, whatever? But he's
not
right on
sure.
71.
Yeah, Lake Como, I guess they
Yeah,
call it.
71 in Belmar or Lake Como,
Right.
whatever. You need architectural work, some plans drawn, whatever you're doing. Everybody that got hit with Sandy, you need this cat. Yeah, you go see Jay Walker.
Right.
And if you need some Bay tracks, he'll do it. He'll do that too, man.
Right. If you have any other people to shout out or tell about upcoming or where to find you, or this is the time to do it.
All right. Well, actually, I just wanted to say
They're
that
giving me they're going to give me this two minutes.
Alvis and I are going to be playing at the Make Music New York Festival that is happening on June 21st.
Okay.
We're going to be at Soho Square at about 6 o'clock.
Fabulous.
And, Alvis is my he's just my
Alvis-
nom de plume, man. He is the man.
Alvis is the man.
AlvisRocks.com. You want to
to
get down with that. And, we're going to be at the Make Music New York Festival.
Well, we
and
have to
you
have
wanna come out and
Alvis.
see us, man.
We have to have Elvis on the show. We'll have to
Yeah, we
squeeze
got to
him in
definitely
to come,
do that,
have
man.
him come on the
Absolutely.
show.
Summer's coming, man.
Yeah,
Summer's going to be
definitely.
happening this year.
I mean, I have a million guests, but I try to work it right. So
it's glad you said that. Thank you for having me on.
I have to
you're
thank you first.
No, you're a busy lady, man. A lot of people are vying to get this spot, and I'm very grateful.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's
Fancy Nancy, and everyone knew her as Nancy.
That's the
Her
truth.
name was McGill,
Right.
but he called herself Lil.
Right.
Sorry about that.
That's what Yeah, people have called me Fancy Nancy before.
Yeah,
They've called me other things too, but
you know.
Fancy Nancy is one of them.
That's my coin term for you, man.
Right.
Fancy Nancy.
I just bought myself a tiara inside Convention Hall, and it's really cool. I mean, people will go, what, is she out of her mind? Maybe, but I'm happy with it. I'm a happy camper. But it's so beautiful, and it's got red stones in it.
Oh,
and
I
it's
wanna
low.
see that, man.
I almost wore it tonight. It's low. It's not real stick-up high. And it's got red stone. It was waiting there for me.
It's reserved.
It was just there waiting for me. So I'm going to now get off that. You'll see me with my tiara. I'll probably start wearing it out. It's gorgeous. And I love it. And I deserve to wear it. And I'm a queen. I'm a queen of rock and roll. Ryan
yes,
rocks.
You are. Ryan
so
rocks,
here we
man.
go.
Woo!
No humility in that. God says if you have it,
Use it.
then you tell it.
Got it. You got to use it.
And you got to
man.
go tell it on the mountain. And I do a lot of that for my God. I am very much a Christian, and a lot of that comes out in my shows, and I love it when it happens, and it usually happens every show. It's happening right now. So now it's my time where I will...
Ginger she had some great rules, man. One of them was treat everybody the way you want to be treated, man.
Exactly.
Everything you do happens back 3 times.
Yeah, that's true.
You go with that rule, man. You're going to be all right, you know?
It's true. Well, look,
Our higher powers got us covered.
but that's the second commandment. I mean, the first commandment is love God and put him first before all others. The second commandment is love your neighbor as yourself.
I almost mixed that up with the Second Amendment. You know, I'm a Second Amendment kind of cat, man.
So people today, a lot of people have problems loving themselves, and maybe that's why they have problems loving other people.
You got to dig yourself
So you got to
first,
get
man.
it down, to loving yourself.
If you don't dig yourself, you won't dig anybody else.
So
man.
that gets me right into my my announcements, who I personally promote for over a year, every single show, and they are Gregory and Karen. I should put Karen first. She's the woman. Karen and Gregory Nixon, Helping Hands of New Jersey. They jumped in there after Sandy. They also, Gregory, I know he went to Katrina, and I know he went to Oklahoma maybe 3 times. They're fabulous people. Go and help them. They do so many wonderful things. The second I want to promote and shout out who I love is Allison Saho. I believe that's the pronunciation. And she is City of Angels. Now, you can just go Google it. You'll find them. Go www.cityofangels.com. Go on Facebook. You can find both of these people on Facebook. Love them. They are for recovery for everything. If a teenager's having a problem at home, it doesn't matter what it is. If they're pulling out their hair, if they're cutting, if they're just having parental problems, they can call and they will get someone that will listen and help and direct them, like to get a better life, to get on the right track. So I'm totally for it. It's alcohol, drugs, everything. It's fabulous. And we at one point said, we're just going to cry for the rest of the 5 minutes of the show because our hearts are so for helping other people. Okay. In addition to that, there are others as well. And I always give this woman, her name is Bev, and she is the founder of Towels for Tenderness. And she, with a few other friends, whoever she can get, they collect towels. It started out with just towels and washcloths and soap and toothpaste. And she goes literally into the streets and hands all that out, and food to the homeless. And she goes up into New York City even. And so I always want to say to her, you are a blessing to all of us. Another person that I really care so much about, and his name is Reverend Stephen Brigham, and he is the founder and resident of Tent City in Lakewood. I have a great deal of admiration for him. My friend Calvin Schwartz, who's with New Jersey Discover TV, and actually I have to say Tara Jean Vitale, who was on my show. Both of them have been on my show. Tara Jean is 5 years, and she is the producer of New Jersey Discover. Calvin has been with them for quite a while now himself, but he called me and he said, you've got to come and see Destiny's Bridge, and it's a documentary that was done about it. And I went to see it at the Twin Rivers Theater, and I was so impressed. And it's very close to my heart for personal reasons that I will not get into about homelessness.
Good stuff, man.
And so those, I don't think I've left, I'm trying to think, I don't think that I've left anybody out. I think that those are the major people that I hope I didn't. If I did, I apologize. And I'm going to actually come into the studio at Jean's very, very intelligent suggestion, is to come in and do all that and have it on already,
right,
so that I can have that extra 5 minutes for my show maybe, and then they'll put it on after.
Make your own promo.
Yeah, and just have it done.
Pre-recorded promo.
Well, I don't have it written down, so I kind of think.
You know, everybody should know that Nancy's reading that off.
No, I'm not.
Live.
No,
that's not a pre-recorded promo that she just did.
No, it's
no, you're doing that as
I'm doing it,
man, you know.
Well, I don't even have it written down, and that's why I'm
that's
pausing,
great,
because
man.
I have to think of them. But I never want to, forget anybody. That's my thing. And if I did, please call me names later tonight. But I do want to say a shout out too for Ruben Rodriguez, who is with Iron Horse Films. And of course, I got to say thank you to Gene Pirro, who is the founder of Hamilton Radio and has been...
Doc G.
Yeah, he has been sacrificing like his entire life to do this for the indie artist and for the love of music. And now Dan is here. And we appreciate him so much, because if it weren't for him, and, I give him, he goes, why are you, I give him a hard time sometimes and I shouldn't. He goes, why are you picking on me? And it's like, I don't really mean to pick. It's just that I do so much promotion, and I want to be able to continue to promote Hamilton Radio to the best and have the links and everything. And I'm just an type personality. So when I complain, it's not really. I wrote a song. It's going to come out. It's called The Martyr. Oh, never. I'm not even telling you the song. But anyway, I don't mean to take it out on Gene. So I'll say that. I don't mean to. We're going through so many changes right now, and we're growing by leaps and bounds, and that's a great thing. So. Oh yeah, where I was saying Iron Horse Films to Ruben, thank you Ruben for for doing such a great job too, and really getting us to move forward in our capabilities of really giving our best to the people that are listening in and who are going to be future listeners. At that, I just have to say it's been a wonderful, wonderful show. I'm very excited that you were here.
Glad to be here, man.
It's brought back great memories. This is about childhood memories and how they influenced you to becoming who you are today. I think you did an excellent job of putting that out there. And poor Gene came and he's got a terrible cough and wants to go home to bed. So I am going to
Gene.
Yeah, so I am going to say good night, everybody. Until next time, this is Nancy Ryan. Ryan rocks it, Asbury Park style.